This news program is proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Now Biscuits.
Investigation underway on recent death in Boroko. Funding assigned to resume National Museum operation. NPM assures strict regulation for new casino. A very good evening. This is National EMTV News. I'm Natasha Ovoy. Thank you for joining us. NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika has announced that investigations are ongoing into the recent death of a young woman in Boroko, in the nation's capital. Sika confirmed that suspects have been identified and will soon face arrest.
The 18-year-old was stabbed by a group of thugs at Tabari bus stop in Boroko, Port Moresby last Saturday and died from the knife wound. Today, Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika emphasized the police's commitment ensuring justice for the victim's family.
We've already, report has been made already to us already, police, so we've taken note of that already. And we immediately did the preliminary investigations, that's what I said, and suspect is known. Suspect's identity is known. Suspect's whereabouts, where he is, hideouts or locations, is all known. So I said I would not disclose that. So it's a subject investigation, and you will be only know when we arrest the suspect, actually.
He urged the public to exercise caution while moving around the city, noting that the police force is currently experiencing a shortage of manpower.
We arrest the suspect, actually. Yeah, so we are currently working around to make sure that we are buying sources, intelligence to guide us. Because these are human beings too. They don't tell us when they're going to commit crimes. So they also are aware they're human beings, so they fear that law might come upon them. So we will not disclose any information on them.
Highlighting a concerning trend, Sika pointed out that rising economic hardships have led to some individuals to turn to crimes as a means of survival.
I think she must be from Highlands, and maybe from Eastern Islands, I guess. So, but it's part of the investigation. So once the investigation is formally compiled and done, and they will give me the report. But as it is now, we are still pursuing this case with the suspect. So
the police continue to work diligently to address these challenges and enhance public safety. James Guke, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika has warned the citizens to refrain from cyberbullying and to accept the fact that the PNG Orchids team has lost in the Women's Prime Minister's 13th game. He said this following the negative comments on social media.
PNG citizens were reminded to use social media positively. This follows the Women's Prime Minister's 13th game between PNC Orchids and Australian team over the weekend. The result of Australia defeating the PNC Orchids with 15-0 did not go down well with some citizens. Some even went ahead and criticized the PNC Orchids team on social media. Following that, Metsup Sika warned the public to accept the fact that PNC Orchids lost the game.
Papua New Guinea, so many people, they love their rugby, and when even Kumuls or when such things happen, this is a game. The people don't know this is a game, so they play, but they come up with all sorts of posts and ideas and opinions and views that they have. So they feel that social media or the Facebook or whatever, they have the freedom to do that, but the law is also there. So maybe in this occasion, this opportunity, I just want to warn everybody, the citizens will accept the fact that the team has lost, right? Accept the fact that and then we can prepare and build up from there on that, and then maybe look at next time to deliver a positive outcome for the country. And so maybe contributing constructive ideas to help the team is okay. But for any other matter at all, so we have a law already in the cybercrime law is already. So that protects the people's rights and integrity.
He said they have a cybercrime unit to help those bullied on social media.
People need to. It's very complex. It's very everybody is saying what they think is right for them to say and so forth. But with this particular person, whom you feel that that post is directed to you, and you feel that it's an offense against anybody or the team. If they know the identity of the people, they can come forward and lay a complaint, formal complaint. So that we have a cyber unit there at 7 Mile, so they can approach 7 Mile and they can get a proper advice and guidance from there.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration, Dr. Philip Mitna, highlighted the critical role of the Police Act and the Constabulary Standing Orders in effectively managing the Constabulary during a 5-day workshop on Police Act review consultation and CSO rollout at Dixie's Bungalow.
Dr. Midna described the CSO as an administrative framework that complements the legal framework provided by the Police Act. He emphasized the need for regular reviews of these documents, proposing that updates occur every 5 years to adapt to the evolving needs of the organization. He explained that they have not conducted a review in the past due to a lack of focus on the Constabulary Standing Order Policy Act and its enforcement, as these critical reviews are essential for the reform process, and they need everyone's input to ensure that they have a robust framework moving forward. DCP Mitna encouraged workshop participants to actively contribute their insights, noting that their collective experience is invaluable in shaping the future direction of the constabulary. He reiterated that adherence to the CSO and Police Act will provide a solid legal foundation for the organization's operations. James Guka, National EMTV News.
Boroko Police Station in the nation's capital witnessed a significant change in leadership today with the commissioning of Inspector Mark Map as the station commander.
NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika extended his congratulations to the promoted officers, emphasizing that their new roles come with substantial responsibilities.
PSC, I want to congratulate you for the job, effort that you've done for the past years, many years you've been here, or throughout, and this is a calling for you, high calling for you, and this that to be elevated to a rank of PSC Inspector, and to take up this substantive position as a PSC Boroko. There's been many actings in here. You've been acting for 2 years since I came and took up this reign.
He urged them to uphold the integrity and the ethics of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary and to effectively manage crime in the city.
It comes with the mammoth challenge. Higher calling and subset responsibilities. You will be judged by your own men and women, also the public out there. Men and women in Boroko here, we have a mammoth task to do, especially in Boroko. So many crimes is going out of proportion because of the fact that we have an acute manpower shortage in the city.
Sika highlighted the challenges faced by law enforcement, stating that today's generation presents unique difficulties compared to previous years in Port Moresby.
Ladies and gentlemen here, do not wait. If you are constable, you project the image. What you've been taught, the values and principles by the RPNGC Training College, those will guide you. You don't have to come out of the gate and throw them into the white pillars of the gate at Bomana, and you come out and you conceal yourself with the unethical conduct and behavior. Today, you have the responsibility and you have to demonstrate that, and don't wait for it. When you are constable, when you say no to alcohol, you say no to alcohol.
He called on the officers to embody the principles and values of the police force, respecting the uniform they wear. In his remarks, Sika also appealed to the public for collaboration with the police to maintain law and order throughout the city. He further encouraged the community members to support law enforcement efforts in addressing the rising crime rate. James Guken, National EMTV News.
PNG Ports Corporation Limited has called on locals living around the port's vicinity to refrain from attacking and robbing vessels docked.
Chief Executive Officer of PNG Ports, Nelly Papenfus, made a call in response to the rise in criminal activities on vessels anchored within declared ports and harbours, particularly in Port Moresby. He said the country's economy depends on maritime trade, and this was a serious threat to the maritime industry. Supporting this, the PNG Water Police, Motu Koita Assembly, and NCD Small Craft Registry Board have joined PNG Ports in an awareness campaign in villages within the port's limit. The team have visited Tatana, Elavala, Baroni, and Vabukori communities to raise awareness on the impacts of sea piracy and armed robbery on maritime trade and encouraged them to report such incidents. This awareness was a collaborative effort to ensure the ports and harbours are safe for business and to stop such criminal acts for the greater good of the country. Lauren Jimal, National EMTV News.
Lagaip MP Amos Akem has filed an application to dismiss an election petition case which disputes his election victory in the 2022 national election. The petitioner is former MP Tomait Kapili, who is seeking to nullify Akem's declaration on various grounds, including allegations of bribery and undue influences. On Thursday, October 10, 2024, Akem, through his lawyer, moved the application objecting to the competency of the petition before Justice Joseph Yagi at the Waigani National Court. He submitted that the petition be dismissed in its entirety for being incompetent on basis that the petition failed to comply with Sections 208 of the Organic Law on National and Local Level Government Elections, as well as Rule 6 of the Election Petition Rules. It was submitted that the petition failed to plead material facts which constitute the grounds of bribery and undue influences so as to invalidate the election result. He also submitted that the petitioner did not fully comply with Rule 6 of the Election Petition Rules by failing to pay the required filing fee of 1,000 kina and the appropriate mode of filing. The Electoral Commission, as the second respondent in the matter, through its lawyer, supported the objection to competency application by Akem and further asked the court to dismiss the petition in its entirety. The petitioner, through his lawyer, opposed the respondent's objection and argued that the petition was competent as it raised serious allegations that should be tried and asked the court to dismiss the objection to competency application. However, towards the end, Justice Yagi made orders summoning the Deputy Registrar, Bakabina, to file an affidavit explaining the reason for certifying the filing of the petition fee as 1,000 kina against the official receipt of the sum of 750 kina as argued by Akem. In yesterday's hearing, Justice Joseph Yagi reserved his ruling to Thursday, October 17, 2024 on the matter. Mr. Akem urged his people of Lagap to remain calm and respect the court process. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Prime Minister James Marape today emphasized that the new casino operations in Port Moresby will be strictly regulated to benefit Papua New Guinea's economy while safeguarding the welfare of its citizens.
Addressing concerns over the recently launched Paga Hill Special Economic Zone or SEZ satellite casino, Prime Minister Marape clarified that this casino will cater exclusively to high rollers, including expatriates, tourists and high-earning Papua New Guineans.
You can come here with membership only. Just like Singapore, the citizens are not allowed. We're targeting our international residents in our city as well as the tourists who will come in.
He further explained that these measures align with recent adjustment to the minimum bet on pokies increased to 100 kina to discourage participation by lower-income earners. He stressed that these changes are designed to curb overseas gambling expenditures by affluent Papua New Guineans who currently travel to destinations such as Cairns, Brisbane, Singapore, and Manila for casino experiences. He added that the primary focus is on attracting international visitors and residents. The Prime Minister also announced a priority hiring initiative for local Motu Koitabuens within the SEZ development. Reflecting on the history of gaming in Papua New Guinea, Prime Minister noted that similar concerns were voiced when pokies were first introduced, yet they have become a regulated part of the country's landscape for over 30 years. Prime Minister Marape concluded this SEZ project has been many years in the making. They are committed to ensuring its development aligns with the standards and delivers economic benefits for Papua New Guinea. Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Following the indefinite closure of the National Museum and Art Gallery in the nation's capital, the Minister responsible for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Belden Nama, today approved 100,000 kina to go towards getting the museum back to normal operation. What lay behind the sign of indefinite closure is a site of an abandoned heritage as a result of what was said to be management as well as utility issues noted to have affected the museum for the last 5 to 6 months. This is what Minister Nama had to say after a tour of the current state of the national structure.
I'm just in a sorry state to see the museum after inspecting it now. It's really heartbreaking. If we don't preserve our history, then how did we become a country? Our history is as good as us as being a country.
In efforts to address this, a meeting was held between the Board of Trustees for the National Museum, the Minister and the Tourism Promotion Authority among concerned parties. This resulted in the Minister announcing this.
Announce to the people of this country that the Tourism Promotion Authority, our Managing Director, after consulting with him, is now making available 100,000 for immediate release to service provider to fix the air conditioning and the water into the museum so that the staff can return to work.
Minister Nama further added,
I understand that the NCD has given a foreclosure notice for indefinite period. As to whatever the reason, if it's a health reason and they have closed it, we will ensure we fix it before the end of the week.
Building on this sentiment, the chairman for the Board of National Museum and Art Gallery, Terence Moka, said this.
This problem has been an ongoing and it has bring difficulty to the museum, to the staffs. There's a lot of misunderstanding, but it is good that we have come today, this morning, to witness that yes, we all can cooperate and work together. And my appeal to the staff is Minister has made a decision. We all have to cooperate with the 2 acting directors and get this place up and running.
Calling the museum a national treasure, Minister Nama noted future aspiration for the structure. Meanwhile, a major concern for the National Museum and Art Gallery is the care and renovation needed for the national artifacts that have sustained damage from the lack of upkeep and utility issues. According to the museum's Deputy Director for Science, Research and Consultancy, Alois Kuaso, restoration for artifacts cost up to millions of kina. Mr. Kuaso noted what had to be done before the museum staff resume duty as well as normal operation.
Problem established, we'll have to return to work once the air conditioning is fixed, but not air conditioning alone. The cleaning has to be done. The aircon has to be clean. The duct has to be clean. Because we are talking about the health issues, and because NCDC didn't come and check because of the artifacts. As remember, they came in here because the health and safety of the staff were threatened with these high temperatures and the poor air circulation breathing. That's why they came and they'll find a certificate of the para. So, and they ended up, and we have to clean the air conducting and the general cleanup of the whole building, interior of the building. The offices, the ceiling, the galleries, the storerooms has to be. We normally, it costs a lot of money. The last time we did it cost about 95,000 kina.
Air condition issues for the national structure has led to severe conservation issues that are costly.
The damage hasn't been assessed yet, but random observation done by the technical staff, curators and the technical staff and the conservation people have observed pest manifestations, meaning more rat, mold, cockroaches, ants. Serious issues of this collection. The heat is causing brittleness and cracking and whopping and twisting of artifacts in the mold seal there. And the other mold growing there, we haven't seen it. The biological specimen in the containers, they were, because the heat making this alcohol, ethanol. So it was heating up and it cracked open and it started coming out.
Mr. Kuaso highlighted the possible costs involved in resolving the conservation issues alone.
It costs a lot of money. Roughly close to conservator, he estimated between 5 to 6 million or close to 10 million on its own, because we have to bring in experts, we have to purchase equipment sources from outside, we have to have humidity control mechanisms, regular, the latest equipment up there. And we have to have the capacity to do it. We don't have people that can do it. So a lot of work needs to be done.
Papua New Guinea will be securing a commercial space outside of the 2025 World Expo site in Osaka, Japan. Minister responsible for the World Expo, Richard Maru, said this is an important decision made by the government to showcase Papua New Guinea's products and services.
The government decision comes with a 3 million kina funding in principle in the budget for next year to secure the commercial space with the support from private sector and state-owned enterprises. Minister Maru revealed that the Expo site only allows for digital exhibition due to the Expo being hosted on an artificial island that poses risk of methane gas and weight that can cause the island to sink. The Expo will commence in April next year and will run for 6 months.
Apart from our shared pavilion in the Expo site in Osaka, Japan, the government has now agreed to rent or lease office space outside of the Expo site for us to allow provinces, government entities and the private sector to go to Japan during the 6 months to go and set up their own display booths and market their products, their goods and their services.
The Expo Secretariat says the Expo gives stakeholders the opportunities to showcase their image of Papua New Guinea to the world. He noted that PNG's participation will also be a challenge.
And so the reason for engaging the provinces and the different government agencies for that they participate, they play a role, and they bring something back in terms of experience and what products they want to expose, what image they want to give of PNG. I think the other challenge is that we just have to do it. We have to find the resources to do it, the money, the manpower, and the determination.
Negotiations are in progress with the Expo Secretariat and potential service providers in Osaka to finalize the lease agreement for the 6 months period.
Half of the money that's required for the Expo to the National Trade Office. So as far as I'm concerned, leasing the office is not an issue. I just expect Ambassador Nusama and his team and our team in Japan our good ambassador and his team to assist us to sort out the lease arrangement with the company that will be leasing the space with, so we can pay them as soon as possible.
A total of 150 countries and 25 international organizations will be participating in the 2025 World Exposition in Osaka, Japan. Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News.
Pohosi Elementary School in Morobe's Nawab district has seen the successful completion of the water, sanitary and hygiene project through the support of the district's administration.
After years of having to walk for long distances to water streams to fetch water for daily use, the Foam community in Nabak LLG now have access to clean, fresh drinking water at their doorsteps.
Inside the school, the school. Within the community, we have 3,000 plus population. We have a program, the wash program, maybe some rainwater, but doesn't come up good. So when looking, when there is rain, we normally we black water. Time the sun and looking because it's a seasonal thing that we experience.
The Water, Sanitary and Hygiene or WASH project in Pohosi Elementary School was initially set up in 2001 by World Vision and the Morobe Provincial Government. The project was designed to rely on rainfall as its primary source of water supply. Through the funding support of the Nawai DDA and contractors Core Pacific Drilling and Inframonics Works and Hire Limited, this new bore water supply project was constructed to complement the unused facilities by sourcing water underground.
In a tropical country, you have a wet and a dry season. So this facility will be useless if you don't provide the water. Now the DDA provide the water. So the students will now use the toilet facility built under the WASH program. So WASH program is now completed because we have a water source to make sure these facilities are working.
The community have already taken the first step to take ownership of the project.
By organizing committee through water organizing committee chairman, secretary, by the executive, so monthly payment, make you one kind of contribution, maintenance, battery, tap, pen, all. If sample natural disaster, I affect him. Or say rain put down big blood through, sample divide put down, come down. Sample something barably, and we play this community oriented support. Fund make him come out through monthly contribution to make that.
The bore water project is set to withstand the test of time if maintained and well taken care of. Jessica Nui, National EMTV News, Leh.
Yanguru Secondary School is calling on the Education Department to give the approval to offer science, technology, engineering and mathematics next year. The school principal, Samuel Pongure, said STEM is the way forward for the country, and with the state of the school's current facility, it is fitting to offer STEM curriculum.
Sharing the same sentiment is the member for Yanguru Sausia and Minister for International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, who believes Yanguru Secondary School as the best facility fit for offering STEM courses.
The district is keen on not only getting STEM for the maths and science students, but we also want to build, on the other side of the school, we have land to have an excellent school for the non-STEM. And we are committed, the School of Humanities. It will be all dependent on whether Education Department gives us the approval to have our first STEM students come next year. There's enough dormitory spaces for 60 students every year, for grade 11 and then 60 for grade 12. So we're ready, and we have the best facility in the country.
Minister Maru revealed that Yanguru Secondary School will be a national school of excellence.
Yanguru Secondary will be a school of excellence for both STEM and non-STEM. And the high school may do grade 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the top students will come here. Yes. And we have 8 at the high school, so students who don't make it here will still make it to either high school to do 11 and 12. But this was, we want to leave it as an excellent school.
Meanwhile, the Yanguru Secondary School principal revealed that the school has not received its boarding status from the Education Department since its inception.
We are also hoping that this is our 50th anniversary and the department will give us pre the school to boarding status, because since its inception in 2020, this school has not been registered yet as a boarding school.
The stamp director, Kaive Kererembo, upon his visit to the school, said he will submit a report to the Education Department. Malinta Yopolo, National EMTV News.
And now we take a look at the NESFAN market report. The kina closed lower at $0.2543 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2468 $0.3640 Australian dollars, €0.2186 euro, and 36.63 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copra closed unchanged, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, and copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News, and now moving to overseas news. Israel has launched a new strike on Lebanon, this time in the Christian majority of the region, Haiti.
Hostilities here in the Middle East are increasing quite dramatically. The latest attack has been Israel's bombing of a mainly Christian village in the north of Lebanon called Aitu, and it looks like Israel has demolished an entire building there. 22 people are reported to have been killed. The death toll may well go up because some people are believed to have been caught under the rubble. Now, that's about 100 kilometres north of here in Beirut. Up until now, it's been mainly the Muslim areas, particularly the Hezbollah-controlled areas of the southern suburbs here in Beirut, that have taken most of the bombing. So the fact that it's now gone 100 kilometres north of Beirut is significant. Hezbollah fired a lot of missiles into Israel today, most of them captured by an Iron Dome, unlike the drone that Hezbollah fired yesterday, which hit the military camp in the army camp in Binyamina in northern Israel, which killed 4 soldiers and injured many others. And the US is now rushing to Israel its state-of-the-art anti-missile system, the THAAD system. As well as that, they're bringing about 95 experts, Pentagon experts, who know how to use this system. It's pretty clear that they're doing that in anticipation from another attack of missiles from Iran. At any time now, Israel is expected to hit Iran in retribution for Iran's missile attack on Israel about 9 days ago, and then Iran is expected to respond to that retaliation, which is why the Americans are certainly trying to get their anti-missile systems in place in Israel.
Canada and India have expelled top diplomats from their respective countries over a probe into the murder of separatists in Canada last year.
It all started this afternoon when India's Ministry of External Affairs issued a statement, a pretty heated statement, saying that on Sunday they got diplomatic communication from Canada suggesting that India's High Commissioner to Canada and some other diplomats were being named as persons of interest in the investigation into this murder of a Sikh separatist last year in Vancouver. Now, that statement accused Canada of concocting these allegations, of deliberately smearing India for political gain and personally called out Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and accused him of long-running hostility towards India. And it said his government has consciously provided space to violent extremists and terrorists to harass and threaten Indian diplomats. A few hours later, we saw Canada's top diplomat Stuart Wheeler be taken to the Ministry of External Affairs for a meeting, and not long after that we got another statement where India said that they would be withdrawing their High Commissioner from Canada because they didn't think that the diplomats there were safe. After that, we then heard from Canada, and this is where things, got even more interesting, if that's even possible. We heard from the Canadian police where they released information from an investigation they've been doing, and they have said that they've found links tying agents of the Indian government to serious criminal activity in Canada, including violent acts like homicide, and also accused Indian diplomats of being involved in what they say are clandestine activities and leveraging their official positions to then feed information back to the Indian government.
We feel compelled today to come in front of you and tell you the activities that have been occurring in Canada, and we want to assure the public that we take it seriously, and our top priority is Canada's public safety and security.
A new report from Charity Food Bank shows that about 2 million households across Australia are skipping meals or eating less because they can't afford the food they need.
Over the decades, disability pensioner Tony Ottens and her husband Rodney have shared thousands of home-cooked meals with the needy. But as prices rise, it's getting harder.
I'm only putting one. I used to put two. Doesn't need two.
They say these hot meals are needed now more than ever.
People are struggling a lot more than what they ever used to. There's a lot of times I will go to places and the shelves are just empty. There's nothing there.
Empty kitchen shelves is something food charity Food Bank has been tracking. Its latest hunger report reveals 3.4 million Australian households are experiencing food insecurity.
And 2 million of those are in the severe category. That means that they are making compromises on what they are eating, when they are eating, or even skipping meals and going entire days without eating.
The report found in the past year more than 1 million households had completely run out of food and didn't have money to buy more. It also warns that while food security is improving for high and middle income earners, it's getting worse for households earning less than $30,000 a year.
We know when it comes to economic shocks and natural disasters, low-income households suffer first, worst, and for the longest, and that is exactly what is playing out.
The rising cost of food and housing was identified as the leading cause of food insecurity, followed by reduced incomes or government benefits. ANU Professor Ben Phillips says increasing the rate of job seeker would be a quick way to ease the pressure of those struggling with food budgets.
So increasing that payment, which goes to the lowest income Australians and those most likely to be in poverty and financial stress, that would make a lot of help to those people.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Chukai Sports. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The PNG Kickboxing Federation is preparing for the World Championship in Spain this year.
Speaking to Chukai Sports today, PNG Kickboxing Federation President Stanley Nandex gave insights of the preparations.
In terms of our preparations, I think we have 10 fighters in the K1, according to the weight divisions, to heavyweight. And we have 10 fighters in the K1. And then we have got also boxers. We invited 2 to 3 boxers to join us. Kickboxing will also include boxing events as well. So for the first time, we have invited one of our pro amateur boxers, Junior Raka, and his team will be also part of this team. Kickboxing also involves MMA. There are the disciplines in Thai boxing as well as other sports or other disciplines. So
he further elaborated and also acknowledged the Sports Foundation and others who supported the team.
In terms of our participation, we may have 3 different disciplines in this World Championships. Maybe later when we come back, we might introduce different rules of fighting, so that enables us to have a big team. Like other countries, US and UK and all that countries will be coming with more than 300 to 400 fighters. That's why in terms of the medal tally, they win a lot of maturity in terms of the gold and silver and all that stuff. Because the more disciplines your fighters are in, the more chances of winning more medals. World Championships only involves gold, silver, and bronze medal. Any of the fighters actually take part in the World Championships automatically qualifies to become a pro. And this is also a good stepping stone for them. It's a good marketing platform where a lot of promoters will be out there. They can be engaged after the World Championships. They are now be able to engage into pro. So.
Now, with days counting down to the World Championships, the female athletes are also preparing for the event.
Female athlete and team leader Jessie Gonapa shared same sentiments on the preparations.
There's about 4 females in the list to go to Spain. We have 2 on the reserves. Currently, we're looking at probably 1 or 2 training with us here. Some are still at our provinces that will come on a later date. The number of females to males, the ratio is not that much, probably 1 to 10 or 1 to 20. So we're still building up on the female league side of things. But the girls are training very hard from what I see, especially one of our fighters here, Droa Kombokun, one of the female fighters. I'd like to acknowledge her for being consistent in the training and attending the trainings. And other fighters too, I believe, will come on a later date from the outer provinces. So I think they're training very hard with the males, doing the same sets, strength, conditioning.
She further emphasized on the importance of supporting the code.
I believe our girls are well prepared. I think funding is an issue. Government and other NGOs should look into supporting women in this sport too. It's also a disciplinary sport, and then it addresses gender-based violence. Also helps with self-defense too for females, physical fitness and stuff like that. So government and other organizations should look into supporting women in this sport. So I think that's all I have to say.
Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
The 2024 Port Moresby Soccer Association season has reached its grand finals, with the top teams from each division set to compete in the grand final this weekend.
In the men's Premier Division, Munkas will face PS Roots, who finished third in the standings. The women's Premier Division will feature Munkas FC against University SE, the 4th place team. In the first division, Cloudy Bay FC will battle Murat NCD FC, the 2nd place finishes. Meanwhile, the 2nd division final will see Boda FC taking on Oman, who came in 3rd. The 3rd division final match will be between Defence FC and Rigo Eagles, the 2nd place finishes. In the under-19 youth division, FC Genesis is set to compete against Cloudy Bay. Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
Hekari United FC continues to dominate the Premier Soccer League 2024 standings.
After round 13, Hekari maintained an unbeaten run with 11 wins and 2 draws. Their current form sees them sit comfortably atop the standings with 35 points, scoring 34 goals and conceding just 5, giving them a remarkable goal difference of 29. Gulf Komara FC follows on 2nd place with 22 points from 6 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses. They have scored 22 goals while conceding 16, maintaining a solid position despite being 13 points behind the leaders. Port Moresby Strikers sits in 3rd with 19 points. They have secured 5 wins, 4 draws and 4 losses with a marginally negative goal difference of -1, having scored 14 and conceded 15. The 4th spot is held by United Islands FC, also with 17 points after 5 wins, 2 draws and 6 losses. Ley City FC rounds out the top 5 with 15 points. At the bottom of the table, Morobe Wawens with 14 points, Lay City Dwellers with 13 points, while Admiralty Islands faces a tough battle with just 10 points from 3 wins, 1 draw and 9 losses, and a goal difference of -18. Jonathan Sibona, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. And now moving to overseas sports. The former Parramatta Eels star Jared Hayne is returning to rugby after he was released from prison earlier this year.
The former Parramatta Eel will be part of Fiji's coaching ranks at the Pacific Championships, which gets underway on Friday. It'll be his first involvement in the sport since he was arrested and jailed for sexual assault last year. His convictions were overturned in June.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Morning Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And now looking at the weather report for the next 24 hours for Southern Region. Port Moresby City, partly cloudy with chances of brief evening showers. And Popondetta, partly cloudy with periods of rain showers and drizzles and possible thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Tuesday, the 15th of October, 2024. From all of us here, pleasant viewing and good night.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.